and welcome. I'm Lori and this is Lori B Yoga. This class is a beginner's class, a level 1. We're going to focus on the abdominal muscles, all the core, which includes the back. So think of your core muscles as all the muscles within the torso. We want to stabilize the lower back, the hip flexors, so that we can stay mobile until we're, 90, 100 years old. So grab your props if you need a yoga block. That might be the only thing you might need today. If you don't have a yoga block, you can grab anything that might substitute a book, maybe a blanket that's folded up, okay? So we'll meet on the mat and we'll start in a laying down on your back position. So once you lay down, just get nice and flat and you make yourself comfortable. So you can have your arms down by your hips. You can have them up overhead if that feels better for you. Just make yourself comfortable. You can have your palms on your belly. Just start to settle in and just come to a stillness before we begin the yoga practice. So everyone take a big inhale through the nose. And then through the mouth, just let it go. One more time, inhale through the nose. And out the mouth, let it go. And then through the nose, start your Ujjayi breathing. Inhales and exhales, both through the nose. And through the practice, you want to work on your breath practice, trying to keep your inhales and exhales a little bit longer than normal breathing, your normal breath practice, or your normal breath length. Make it a little bit longer, make it more controlled, and bring some intention to your breath. We'll give it one more inhale here. And just exhale it out. Bend the right knee and draw the thigh in towards your belly. Keep the left leg straight on the mat. We're going to straighten the right leg up. And you want to maintain the right ankle directly above your right hip or even slightly below. If you find that your foot, your leg has come a little bit more forward towards your belly, you're going to notice that the lower spine, the curve comes out when you bring your leg a little bit more forward. So you want to maintain that lower curve in your spine. So the ankle is directly above your hip, and we're just going to have the palms on the mat down by your side, palms face down. You're lifting the left leg, maybe an inch or so off of the mat, flexing the left ankle, engaging the leg. You're going to feel the core has started to engage once you lifted that leg. And just take a couple breaths here. Just one more inhale. And exhale, lift the left leg to meet the right. And then we'll lower the right leg down, all the way down to the mat. So you just want to make sure you have the right alignment on the left side as well. So the ankle is directly over the hip or even below it, just in order to keep that lower curve in your spine going. All right? And so palms face down, their arms are still down by your sides, and we're lifting the right leg, maybe an inch or so off of the mat, engaging your core. One more inhale. And exhale, lift the right leg next to the left. And now we're going to reach the arms up overhead. Have the palms face one another and the thumbs on the mat or the floor over your head. We're going to lower the left leg down to the mat. Lift the arms so that the thumbs are now just hovering over the mat. And then again, lift the left leg. You don't have to lift it very high, just an inch or so off of the mat, but keep the left ankle flexed, and you'll notice the core is engaged. And try to get long from your left ankle through your fingertips. One more inhale. And exhale, release. Bring the left leg up to meet the right. Arms can rest on the mat. And you'll lower the right leg. Engage the arms, lift the arms up off the mat. Right leg hovers over, maybe about an inch up off the mat. One more inhale. And exhale, both legs up. Bend your knees, draw your thighs in towards your belly. Wrap your arms around your shins and make a little ball. Maybe roll a little left and a little right. So I noticed my core for sure. I hope you did too. We're gonna do half happy baby. So lower the left foot to the mat. Lift the right foot back up towards the ceiling. So your leg is right back where it was. Ankle is over your hip. You're going to bend your right knee, keeping the sole of the right foot facing the ceiling. With your right hand, grab the outside of your right calf, ankle, or foot, and draw your right knee in towards your armpit. You can keep the left leg bent, or you can straighten it down the mat, whichever feels more appropriate for you today. You could also use your strap here. If you happen to have a towel or a strap, you could wrap that around your foot. And just even if your leg was almost straight but with a little bend and the sole of the foot is facing the ceiling, you're doing good. We'll give it 2 more breaths. One more inhale. And exhale, both legs into the belly. Again, make yourself into a little ball, roll a little left and a little right. We'll lower the left foot down to the mat. Straighten the left leg. Again, have the ankle over your hip. You're gonna bend the left knee. With your left hand, grab the outside of your left calf, ankle, or foot, and then draw that left knee in towards your left armpit, but keeping the sole of the left foot facing the ceiling. It doesn't matter how straight or how bent your left leg is, as long as the sole of the foot is facing the ceiling, and you're just drawing it down towards your armpit. And you can keep the right knee bent or straighten it. And definitely my sides are different today. Two more breaths. One more inhale. And exhale again, both thighs in towards your belly. Wrap your arms around your shins. Roll a little left and a little right. And then we're gonna roll up to seated. And all the way over onto your bellies. Lay all the way out on your belly. Actually, before we do this, let's do cat-cow first. So, in cat-cow, we just want to get a little bit more movement into our spine before we go further. So you want your wrists directly underneath your shoulders and the knees directly underneath your hips. With an inhale, you're going to let the belly drop. Lift the sitting bones, draw the shoulder blades back, and look forward. And with your exhale, curl in, press into the palms to draw the spine towards the ceiling, chin towards your chest. Inhale again, belly drops. Sitting bones lift, shoulders draw back, look forward. And exhale, curl in. We'll do one more round. Inhale, lift up, and exhale, curl in. Now we'll come to our bellies. Legs are straight out. Actually, I need to scoot back a little bit. I've got terribly long arms and legs. So, we're gonna start in Sphinx pose. Elbows should be directly underneath your shoulders. The forearms are parallel to one another and the palms face the mat. You wanna think of the fronts of your thighs, fronts of your hips, and tops of your toes rooting into the mat. Think of like an elephant sitting on your butt. And you want to get out from underneath it and draw the chest forward. So with everything from here down rooted into the mat, draw the chest forward so you feel a stretch from your navel up your belly and up into your chest. Shoulder blades, if you notice, if your shoulders are in your ears, you want to get nice and tall, draw them down your spine, and then shoulder blades towards one another, like you're going to hold a walnut back there. And then think of drawing your tailbone back towards your heels. Maybe look down your nose, just right beyond your fingertips, or look forward. Couple more breaths. One more. And we'll exhale and lower down. We're going to lower down onto our forearms, onto our forehead with our arms back by our hips. With an inhale, we're going to just lift the legs. And then we'll lift the shoulders, lifting the chest, balancing really just on our belly and our hips. One more inhale. Exhale, lower down. This time reach the left arm forward. We're going to bend our right knee, grab onto our right ankle, or the foot, or the calf. And if you need the strap, you can grab the strap and wrap it around your ankle. With your inhale, lift the right thigh up off of the mat. Lift the left leg up, and then lift the left arm, lift the left fingertips, draw them forward, draw back through the left toes, and then kick that right foot against your right palm to open up the front of the right shoulder, and lower down. We're going to do that on the other side. So the right arm will reach forward, left arm will reach back, bend your left knee and grab onto your left ankle or the foot. With an inhale, you'll start to lift the left thigh up off of the mat, lifting and drawing the left shoulder back. And then we're lifting the right leg and the right arm. One more inhale. And exhale, release. Walk the palms back. Lift up into tabletop. We're going to draw back into a child's pose. So you walk the knees forward and take the knees pretty wide as your mat. But the big toes will touch behind you. Sit back on your heels. And here you can use your prop. So if you want to use a prop for your forehead, this feels pretty good on your spine. You can reach the arms forward and just rest your forehead on the prop. If you don't have a prop, you can always just crisscross your forearms and drop your forehead down to your forearms. And then if you want a little bit deeper, bring your forehead to the mat. Just 3 more breaths here. One more inhale. And then exhale slowly. Coming back into your tabletop. We're going to step the feet just about, well, legs length to set up a plank pose. So once you're in plank pose, you want to think about getting some space between the shoulder blades and then taking the tailbone and drawing the tailbone down towards your heels. Draw the navel up towards your spine. Take a big inhale and exhale, draw back into downward facing dog. So the hips lift up and then you draw back. So for a first down dog, let's step the feet in, make a shorter downward facing dog, and then also separate the feet pretty wide, about as wide as your mat. And then just stretch it out, put some movement in this down dog. Bend your knees, maybe sway the hips left and right. 2 more breaths here. Just do what feels pretty good. If you need to keep a nice big bend in the knees, do that. 1 more inhale. Then we're gonna come back and bring the feet to hip distance apart. What that means is if you look back at your big toes, it looks like 2 of your fists can just fit between your big toes. Then with an inhale, we're gonna rock forward into a cat tilt, into a plank, and then straighten out into your plank. So we hold plank for an inhale, and exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale again, cat tilt into plank. Set up your plank. Draw the tailbone back towards your heels, separating the shoulder blades. Take another inhale. Exhale, cat tilt back to downward facing dog. Just 1 more round here. Next inhale, cat tilt in forward to plank. Settle in your plank. And then exhale, cat tilt back to downward facing dog. We're going to bend the knees and bring the shins down to the mat. We're going to go into supported side plank. All right, so we're going to take our our left hand, scoot it just a little bit forward from where it was. So maybe the base of your left palm is even with the bottom of your fingers on the right hand. I'm going to take the left shin and just take it a little bit to an angle out towards the outer edge of your mat. We're going to roll open, step the right foot back on the mat behind your left foot, open up the body, reach the right arm up. Now you can gaze up at your left palm, you can gaze directly forward, or you can gaze down at your left palm. And I want you to press pretty strongly into that right foot and lift the hips up even higher. Now I want you to rotate the entire right arm at the shoulder and then reach the right arm up overhead. And almost, even bend the right arm, stretching through the right rib cage, the right hip. Get a nice stretch, even for the front of the body as you're pressing the hips almost forward and up. Or even squaring the shoulders. So the right shoulder is drawing open and back, and the left shoulder is drawing a little bit forward. Give it 1 more inhale. And straighten the right arm, reach it up, and then we'll lower back down. So back into your tabletop. We'll take the right foot in the shin and place it at an angle so that the right foot is at the outer edge of your mat. Roll open, step the left foot right behind or below the right foot. Open up the body, reach the left arm up. Now you can look up at the left hand, straight ahead, or down at the right hand. We're going to rotate the left arm at the shoulder, reach the left arm forward, press into the left foot to lift the hips even higher. Bend the left elbow, press the hips high, roll the left shoulder back, the right shoulder forward. One more inhale, and straighten the left arm, reach it up, and then lower back down into your tabletop. We're going to come into another plank, but we're going to be on our forearms. So lower down to the forearms. You can clasp the hands together, step the feet back into your plank. So again, you want to separate the shoulder blades, draw the tailbone towards the heels. We're just going to do 2 sets of twists here. So we're going to roll over to the outer edge of the left foot, lower the left hip, and then push back up to plank. Lower to the outer edge of the right foot, lower the right hip, push back up to plank. One more time each side. Lower the left foot, lower the hip, come back up into plank. Rotate to the right foot, lower the right hip, and then come back into plank. Bend the knees, and we'll set up a traditional child. So you want your knees together, ankles together, sit back on your heels, and roll the belly over your thighs. Again, you can use your block. If you want to rest your forehead on the block, reach the arms back, or you can let the forehead reach all the way down to the mat. Just 3 breaths here. One more inhale. We'll slowly walk the hands forward. Move your prop if you had that. We're going to come to stand at the top of the mat. So we're going to do a couple warriors 2 times, and then we're going to go to seated again and just do some stretching. Okay? So you can have your feet together a little bit apart, arms at your sides. Take an inhale, reach the arms up, and exhale, you'll fold forward. With an inhale, look forward, lengthen. You want your shoulders at about the same height as your hips. Exhale, palms to the mat. We're going to step our feet back. We're going to skip the chaturanga and draw back downward facing dog. We're going to lift the left leg, step the left foot to your left thumb, turn the right heel all the way in, come all the way up to standing. So we're going to go right into warrior 2 because I'm not a fan of warrior 1. So we're going to skip it. Make sure that your back foot, the outer edge of your back foot, is parallel to the back of your mat. Right or front knee, as you bend it, you want your thigh close to 90 degrees, or I'm sorry, parallel to the mat. The knee or the shin and the thigh are at 90 degrees. Now, you also want to draw the right hip back, the left hip a little forward, tailbone down towards the floor, and the pubis bone a little up. Your hips probably won't get completely square, so if they're at a little bit of an angle, that's fine. Arms out to the T, palms face down, gaze over your left fingertips. A couple breaths here. You got this. Engage the arms. Know that you're strong. You can do this. We're going to take the right arm, reach it down the right leg, rotate the left arm up and over the ear. Keep the bend in the left knee, the front leg. One more inhale. Exhale, lift back up into warrior 2. Bend your left arm, place the forearm on your left thigh. Rotate the right arm and reach it up over the right ear. So now you can look down at your left toes, you can look forward, or you can look up at your right palm. Whatever feels good for your neck. One more inhale. And exhale, back up to warrior two. Straighten the left leg, hands to your hips. Rotate so that the left toes now face out. So now you want the left outer edge of your foot to be parallel to the top of your mat. Rotate the right toes so that they face straight ahead. Bend your right knee, arms out to the T. So now your left leg is the back leg. You're in warrior two again. Gaze over your right fingertips. You want your right thigh going towards parallel to the mat. Shin and thigh are at about 90 degrees. And again, your hips might not get completely square. A little bit of an angle is okay. Tailbone draws down towards the mat and the pubis bone draws up towards your navel. 2 more breaths. 1 more. Exhale, left arm down your left leg. Rotate the right arm to face up and then reach it up over the right ear. Keep the bend in the right leg and reach over towards the left. So you can look down at your left toes, you can look straight ahead, or you can look up at your right palm. 1 more inhale. And then back up in warrior two. Bend your right elbow, place the forearm on your right thigh, rotate your left arm to face up and reach it up over your left ear. You want to keep the bend in the right knee. And again, you can look down at your right toes, you can look straight ahead, or up at your left palm. Whatever feels good on your neck. 1 more inhale. Exhale all the way back up, warrior two. Straighten the right leg, hands on your hips. We're just rotating the feet. Right toes face to the side, left toes face forward. Bend the left knee, arms out to the T. Gaze over your left fingertips. Right arm goes down the right leg. Left arm rotates up and reaches over the left ear. Keep the bend in the front knee, your left knee. One more inhale. Exhale back to warrior two. Bend your left elbow, place the left forearm on your left thigh, rotate the right arm, reach it up over the ear. One more inhale. Exhale back up to warrior two. Straighten your left leg, hands to your hips. Left toes face to the side. Right toes now face to the back of the mat. Bend your right knee. Arms out to the T and gaze over your right fingertips. Left arm reaches down your left leg. Right arm rotates up and reach the right arm up over the ear. Keep the bend in the right knee. Back up into warrior two. Bend the right elbow, right forearm to your right thigh. Rotate the left arm up and reach it up over the ear. One more inhale. Exhale back into warrior two. Hands on your hips, straight through the right leg. Step to the top of the mat. And we're gonna have a seat. So we're almost done. Legs are straight. And we're gonna just fold forward. But you can also grab a prop, which will help you in this pose. If your hamstrings or your hips or your lower back are tight, you want to sit up on a block. Anytime you can get your hips up above your knees. So if I can get my hips above the knees, it's gonna really help open up this pose and make it a little bit more comfortable for me. If you're tight and you need to bend your knees, bend your knees. If you need the strap, use the strap, a towel, a hand towel, anything to wrap around your feet. So we want to engage the legs here. So kneecaps draw up into the thighs. And we also want the spine, the shoulders directly over the hips. So if you notice you're rounding or you're leaning back, You want to get up nice and tall, and that's where a block can really help you. So sitting up nice and tall, palms on the mat right in front of your hips, maybe mid-thigh. Inhale, get nice and tall through the spine, get that forward tilt in your hips. And with the exhale, if you're folding forward, think of your chest going beyond your toes. You're just walking the hands forward. And then you're just gonna relax and drop the head where it feels good. You can grab onto your feet, maybe bind the big toes. But you don't want to necessarily round so much in the spine. It really wants to be a forward, straight spine. And then when you get to where you're going, drop your head. So there can be a slight curve in your spine. But you don't want to put too much of a curve in the spine because then it takes the pose, or takes the intention of the pose away from what we're really doing here. One more inhale. Exhale, we'll slowly walk back up. We're going to take it to bend the right knee, place the sole of the right foot to the inside of your left thigh. You want to engage the left ankle by flexing the ankle. Again, sit up nice and tall. Maybe the hands are on the mat outside your hips, press into the palms. You want that forward tilt in the hips. And then a slight rotation in the spine so that the middle of the belly is directly over your thigh. And if you're folding forward, think of your right hand going outside of your left calf, ankle, or your foot, and fold forward. One more inhale. Exhale, we'll walk it back up. We're just going to do a little side stretch here. So I'm just going to turn to face you guys. So what you want to do is, if you're here, you just want to kind of separate the knees from one another. So now your right heel will be right in front of the groin and your left leg is at an angle outside the hip, okay? I'm going to place the left hand just somewhere, grab onto your left leg, reach the right arm up, and then walk the right arm or reach the right arm over towards the left, but you want to keep the right sitting bone down. So if you notice like you're lifting up here, you want to make sure that you just come back. It's not too much movement here to get a lot of stretch along the right side of the body. So keep rooting the right sitting bone down into your mat as you reach over with the right arm to the left. One more inhale. And exhale, back to center. And we'll straighten the right leg. Bend the left knee and place the sole of the left foot to the inside of your right thigh. Sit up nice and tall. Take a big inhale. And then as you exhale, if you're folding forward, think of your left hand reaching to the outside of your right calf, ankle, or foot, as it's a slight rotation in the spine and you're getting the middle of your torso right down the center of your leg. One more inhale. And slowly coming back up to seated. Again, we're just separating the knees. So now your left heel is right in front of the groin and the right leg is outside the hip. Just take your right hand and grab somewhere onto the right leg, reach the left arm up. And as you root down through that left sitting bone, you're gonna reach over to the right. So almost draw your left rib cage towards the left as you reach over to the right. One more inhale. And exhale. Back to center. So we're going to come up to a tabletop. to set up our pigeon pose. So, you know, I'm gonna give you 2 ways to do pigeon right now. So if you know what pigeon is and you know the full version, you'll get up on your knees, tabletop, and then you're gonna draw the right knee outside your right wrist, reach the left leg back, come down to your forearms, and maybe reach the arms forward and lower down. If this is too much weight on your hips and it's just not feeling good right now because maybe you're feeling tight today, we can also do it on our back with thread the needle. So you'd be on your back with your left knee bent, right ankle on top of your left thigh, right hand goes between the legs, clasp outside your left knee, and draw the legs in towards your belly. Your right elbow will do a little bit of work to push the right knee out. So you have these 2 different options for pigeon pose, depending on how your hips are feeling today. Both are very good hip openers. Two more breaths. One more, inhale. And exhale. If you're in traditional pigeon pose, you want to walk the hands back underneath your shoulders, lift up, draw the right leg back, come back up into your tabletop. If you're on your back, just lower the left foot back down to the mat, right foot back down to the mat. If you're in tabletop, slide the left knee forward outside your left wrist, and then reach the right leg back. Come down to the forearms, and then maybe reach the arms forward. On your back, left ankle on top of right thigh, left hand goes between the legs, clasp outside your right knee, and draw the legs in towards your belly. Your left elbow will do work to push that left knee away from you. One more, inhale. Exhale, release. Lower the right foot back down to the mat. If you're in full pigeon, walk the hands back underneath the shoulders, lift up into tabletop as you draw that left knee back. We're all gonna meet laying down on our backs. We're gonna take the soles of the feet to the mat. Keep your feet about hip distance apart. So you wanna just be able to just touch the outer ankles or outer heels of both feet with your hands, with your fingertips. Roll the shoulder blades under just a little, and then with an inhale, press into the feet, lift the hips. You're gonna lift up till you're rolling onto the tips or the points of your shoulder blades, and then again, you can maybe roll them under, take that tailbone, draw it towards your heels, and lift up just a little bit more until the chest is going towards your chin. Maybe clasp the hands underneath your hips, roll the arms under, again press into the triceps to lift the hips up just a little bit higher. One more, inhale. Exhale, release the clasp if you have your hands clasped, and slowly roll all the way down to the mat. Okay, take the feet wide, about as wide as your mat. We're gonna let the knees reach over to the right, and then lift them up. Reach them over to the left, and then again lift them up. Then we're gonna take them in just a little, walk the feet in just a little bit. So maybe they're hip distance apart. Let the knees fall over to the right. And then if you want a little bit more, take the right ankle, place it on top of your left thigh, just for a little bit of weight so that you can feel lengthening through the left side as well as that twist. Arms can be at goalpost arms. So your arms are out to the T, but then you put a bend in the elbows. You're a goalpost. I kind of love this twist. One more inhale. Exhale, release the right ankle from on top of your left thigh. Place it down on the mat and lift both knees up. Readjust the spine if you have to do any adjusting. And then make sure that the feet are just hip distance apart. And reach the legs over to the left. And then place the left ankle on top of your right thigh. I feel the lengthening all along the rib cage, the front of my right hip, and even into the quad. I think it feels really good. One more inhale. And slowly remove the left ankle from your right thigh. Bring the left foot back down to the mat. Lift both knees back up to center. And then draw both thighs in towards your belly. Wrap your arms around your shins. Create a little ball. Just for a couple breaths, draw your nose towards your knees. Really get nice and tight in there. And then release. And we'll set up for our Shavasana. Let the legs go straight. Palms face up. So you want your breath to come back to your normal breathing pattern. Just for a couple breaths, maybe about a minute or so, just give yourself a pat on the back for being here, for moving, for working on yourself. That you accomplished something that you set out to do. You showed up. You showed up here on your mat. If you can stay in your Shavasana a little bit longer, I invite you to please stay as long as you can. If you're crunched on time, maybe bring one knee at a time back into your belly. Wrap your arms around your shins one more time. Roll left and roll right. And eventually we'll roll up to seat. Hands at heart center. I want to thank you so much for joining me once again on our mats. And may your yoga practice last with you all day long after you've rolled up your mat. Peace, namaste.